time between all parts of the world, and everybody go through that hardship in communicating. It's just like you can make it smoother by explaining consciously what you want them to do. Again, having multiple instructions, having multiple communications won't help you. A clear and a precise communications will definitely lead to success. Setting up boundaries, sometimes it works, sometimes it won't, because they are also in the stage of being vulnerable, and according to your family environment they can have a setback whether I can communicate this from my parents or not, or whether it is a successful communications indicators or not, or there could be a couple of more in that sense. And so having said that, just setting up a boundaries and telling them that you can definitely communicate, but uh, because we come from that specific culture, this is how we have been brought up, telling them funny stories when you are growing up, sharing those ideas of a parenting at your time. Of course, not the worst part of it, but the beauty of it, and how did it make you achieve those things, or how did it restrict you to achieve those dreams. So that will give them a broader spectrum to have their vulnerability shared and try to understand your perspective. Though I feel that kids try to set up those boundaries and try to respect the parents to a greater extent, it's only at times that parents are not putting enough efforts or overdo the efforts in making the communication smoother, I feel. However, the conscious communications, a lighter note communications, the communications, indirect communications is a very um, good way to make the message reach. If your ultimate goal is that they should understand your perspective, then of course you have to get down to their level and express them. Few kids understand it indirectly, some kids need a clear conversation, some kids want a very precise conversation, some want elaborated conversation, some want stories. Definitely you are enough experienced by now to understand what kind of a communications your kid will prefer, and that will motivate you and that will pursue you to have a smoother communication. Being stubborn all your life, now is the time where you need a bit of a flex in your strain, lessen your strain on your shoulders, less your strains on your brain. Just try to understand a new perspectives and open a new chapter to your life and see how much more to say. There is no harm in being stubborn. Most of us successful people have a stubbornness to be successful, but at the same time, being too hard on teenagers may lead to a kind of like a in existential crisis, especially if you're a nuclear family and there are less people to communicate. In my case, the stories works the best, like how I've been brought up, only highlighting the points which I enjoyed. At times I do say could be this, but I just give them a perspective that our time were different. We don't expect them to do that, but it's good to have them repeating themselves and growing in front of your eyes. So if you're expressing your anger to the peak, you need to express your love to the peak as well. If you're being stubborn in most of the cases, you have to be stubborn in giving them the things they like. They are at the end of the day your kids, so they will imitate you in whether you like it or not like it. So if you don't like your habit of being something, definitely you are seeing a reflections in front of you. So smoother communication and explaining them your roots, explaining them how you have been brought up, explaining the rejoices or the joys that you have during your growing years, it will definitely give them an upper hand. Restricting the worst, I'm going to emphasize a bit on it because we should not, because whenever you are saying a fun thing they will look for the thing that's not said. Maybe there is nothing that you have to mention, but they might have a sneak in there. Now again, you don't have to say it in every communication. Sometimes few communications needs to be precise and clear as well, and That's when you don't have to get in stories and tell them directly that this is how it is, and you have to wait for their reactions to have them on it, and their opinion as well. Just telling them and walking away is not the solution. Just sit, wait for their reactions. If they want to leave, that's all right. If they want to come back, that's all right. If they wanted to write and tell you, that's all right. Just see the behavioral changes coming each and every day after the communications and prior to the communication. It's not always verbal, sometimes it could be non-verbal as well. But the most important part is make the communication smoother. If you know your ultimate goal, it will be easier for you to achieve. And if you're a stubborn person, you definitely this will help. Thank you so much. Have an awesome parenting time. Bye.